And today, I'm here to talk about purpose, but purpose when the work stops. Purpose when the emails no longer come in, when the conference calls no longer happen, when you no longer have a calendar full of meetings. And if this sounds like freedom to you, it may sound like it for the first couple of months. But when I speak to clients who are approaching retirement, one of the biggest challenges that they face is, Rebecca, what will become of me? Who will I be when I am no longer working? What will I get up for? And that's what statistics is showing us. When people approach retirement and they don't have a sense of purpose, they don't know who they are anymore, they become more and more lonely. And with this loneliness comes cognitive decline. And once cognitive decline sets in, Alzheimer's and dementia have an extremely higher rate of becoming a part of the problem. So one of the things that I would like to talk to you about here, and I'm here thanks to Stella Academy and to the amazing organizers, to talk to you not about aging, but about living your best life after you retire, about finding ways to contribute to the community after you retire, about ensuring that your cognitive decline goes in the opposite direction after you retire. Slightly different topic here. Anyone who knows somebody or you yourself are going through dementia or Alzheimer's? A raise of hands? Yeah. So if you know anyone who's going through dementia, Alzheimer's, or simply loneliness, then I invite you to come and sit with us for the next 20 minutes because we'll be talking about very gentle strategies to manage this actually social problem. I'll start with loneliness. It's quite interesting, isn't it? We're actually a society that is so connected in today's world. I come from KL, and in KL, there are 8 million people in the city. And yet, most of us are actually lonely. And then came the promise of social media, Facebook, Instagram, that promised us to be even more connected with others. Yet, what social media has done is make us even more isolated from one another. So loneliness is slowly becoming a big problem in our society. And I'm here to share with you how what starts with loneliness, if not addressed, goes on to become a big factor in dementia and Alzheimer's. If you can see from the stats, loneliness significantly increases our risk of dementia. And as a nation, we're becoming more and more lonely. Currently, there are 260,000 Malaysians who are extremely lonely. Recent statistics show that 37 people in Singapore died without anybody knowing. Neighbors only found out that they died because there was a strong smell coming from the apartment. So the problem of loneliness is a big problem currently in our society. So I had a raise of hands earlier for those of you who know anyone with dementia and Alzheimer's. Now the bad news is, if you don't know anyone, you probably will soon, because Alzheimer's and dementia is going to triple in the next few years. By 2050, Malaysia would have tripled its number of Alzheimer and dementia cases. So here's the thing, a lot of people talk about dementia and Alzheimer's from a very strong medical perspective. I'm here to talk about it from a very social perspective. Over coffee a couple of months ago, a 76-year-old woman full of energy, full of passion for bringing service to others. She started Stella Academy way before I was born. The organization has been around for 46 years, and she's devoted her life to the service of others. It was so inspiring to meet a 76-year-old who was just interested in living, in pursuing, in growing, and this was the reason why I'm here today. Stella Academy has been in the business of wellness wellness through what is called touch-based therapy. Stella Academy has helped people from the ages of 8 to 80. Madam Stella, apart from running a successful business, is also someone that does a lot for NGOs. She gives back to the community. Part of what she does is helping the blind to find a source of living. She works with children who have special needs. And this is the reason why she's here today, because she wants to share with you the importance of touch-based treatments in supporting dementia and Alzheimer's. I would like to point to you to one, you can read the slide of course, take pictures if you like, but the one element that I would like to point to you is social connections. Often when we talk about Alzheimer's and dementia, we talk about it as a medical condition, right? We think it's a cognitive decline, but there is a strong social element here. Regular engagement with family, friends, and community groups are a significant factor that decreases the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. The other point that I would like to bring to you is touch and physical contact. Touch, something as simple as touch, is something that we have forgotten because now we communicate via screen. We no longer look into people's eyes when we communicate. We no longer touch. We only touch our handphones. We only touch our computers. And we think that's enough to communicate. Meet the stereotypical 70-year-old. If I ask you to reflect on any 70, 80-year-old that you know, do you picture someone like the woman I just described, the 76-year-old who's running a successful business? Or do you think of someone who spends most of their time sitting in front of the TV watching one Korean drama after the other? Which comes to mind? Most of us are very quick to judge when a child is on an iPad, right? We say, oh my goodness, the child is not playing outside, the child is on the iPad. But when we see an older person in front of the TV, none of us have the urge to say, let's bring her outside. Maybe she needs to also mix with others. We judge older people as if they're useless, as if their lives are meant to be spent watching TV. And that is the reason we are part of the problem. We believe that it's okay for them to be this way when it's not. Businesses can be a great part of the community and can still contribute very much to society. If I were to ask you, what is the biggest factor that influences dementia and Alzheimer's, what do you think it is? Most of the time, when somebody says, I know of someone who has dementia, they go like, oh, masih ginkgo lah. Actually, have you tried Memory Plus? Nobody says you should hang out with your friends more often. But that is one of the key factors if you want to prevent yourself and your loved ones from getting dementia. Get them to spend time with other people. What is a meaningful connection? It's a fancy word for quality time, but what really it is when you speak to an elderly person is to make them feel heard, feel seen, feel important. And how many of us do this when we talk to elderly people? How many of us pay attention to them? How many of us listen to them? I'm guilty of it. When I go back to see my parents, my mom might be talking to me, I might be on my phone, just nodding to her, even though I'm not really actually listening to what she's saying. What I am communicating to her is, you're not important, my phone is more important. And that's what we do when we communicate with elders. But we need to understand that the very key part of their well-being is the ability for them to have meaningful connections.